You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABBO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at Schoolofbookkeeping.com. Well, welcome to another Workshop Wednesday, which is casual conversations for serious workflows. Looking for the little banner to show up there on the bottom. And it's brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where it's all about keeping to learn. Oh my gosh, your new mouth.
Learning QuickBooks your way.
Thank you, Rachel, and it's a pleasure to see you again.
I'm back.
You took a sabbatical.
You had Shauna.
Right. So for those that were wondering, what happened to Rachel? We did a series on job costing with Shauna Quinn and allowed Rachel to take a step back and focus on her clients and new exciting stuff in your world. So how was your sabbatical?
It was great. And by the way, I will say Shauna is the job costing guru. So I'm sure you guys had a great time. And I met her at Intuit Connect for the first time. So that was really great. She's super cute and I love her hair.
Exactly.
But my sabbatical was good. Actually, it was really good because I was off with my master's and I just started up back on Monday. So I'm already doing homework again, which is lame. But I have very big news. I bought a firm. Ooh. I am, for all intents and purposes, pretty much done with the whole process. And it was my first acquisition, and I can't even believe I'm saying words like that because I feel like when I first started my entrepreneurial journey in really 2019 is when I first started. I never in a million years would have imagined I would have had 10 employees and basically 2 firms, although now really we're going to keep Net Deposited focusing on the niche of e-commerce and inventory and with the external inventory platform software specialization, and then really bookkeeping and accounting with Core Financial Pros, which is the name of the business that I bought from Sharon Fuller, who is your co-host on the Power Hour.
Right. I had nothing to do with that. I just happened to be.
No. And sometimes I think people forget Sharon was the 2025 Intuit Educator ProAdvisor of the Year. Yeah. So she's very well known and she really specializes in scaling a business. And actually the reason that she wanted to sell the business is because she's really focusing more on her community, which is clone and conquer, which is to scale a business, clone your processes. Not only is she a great accountant, she's an amazing entrepreneur in building a business specifically for bookkeepers and accountants. And her community is just getting going with that. I know she's actually sold a business before, but with this one specifically, it's really for her clone and conquer community, which I know she's going to have a lot of information coming out about that.
Yeah, it's really exciting stuff for both of you. And I'm glad to just even know you both. So
I'm telling you, and I told you before, I would not even be where I am with Net Deposit if it were for you, Dad.
Oh. And hopefully you and your family had a wonderful holiday season.
Yeah, we did. We didn't get as much snow as we wanted. We traveled to Seattle where my family is to go skiing, and there was no snow, which is unfortunate. But I do also have an update for you. This is a message from my husband. He says you have a really good voice.
Oh. Yeah, when I worked
He's a
at
fan.
Intuit, actually, it's funny because that was when I would get feedback about my voice a lot. People
It's
would
very
call,
deep.
you should be on the radio, and
Yeah.
all those things. Then I would break the news like, that's what I studied in college, was video and radio production. But one of my coaches there at Intuit, he called me in after I was talking to somebody. He's like, your voice is just so calming.
It is, and that's probably what made you so good at your job. You went into it with troubleshooting and a lot of that, and it probably set a lot of people at ease. That's why you're a great educator.
Yeah, they would come in with their hair on fire, and I can't do payroll, and just the timbre of my and tone, it would just seem to calm them down, like he was listening to the call at the time. He's like, you just said something, and they were like, okay. You
that's probably not my forte. I probably would like whip them up into a bigger frenzy. hold on, let me look here.
When you need somebody to get stuff done, that's where Rachel comes in. She's the clicker. But I did want to give a couple announcements on the School of Bookkeeping side of things. You saw the intro where Blake was talking about the earmark CPE. We are going to put a pause on that in the coming year, so 2026. You can still go to our earmark channel on earmark, and any of the historical ones, they're good, I think, for a year. So you can always go to the earmark channel for School of Bookkeeping at the earmark app and still get CPE credits. But moving forward in 2026, new workshops will not be eligible for CPE, which is totally fine. We appreciate our friends over there. They do a great job. So now, moving into our topic du jour, and actually topic du month, I think is the not topic of the day. What is month in French? I don't know.
I'll have to ask my daughter. She's taken 4 years of it, but I don't even really, she probably wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going in her mind. She's taken French for a long time.
Wow. She's planning on going abroad, apparently.
Actually, she is going to France this summer, and we're hoping that the immersion into the actual culture will help.
Yeah.
Taking French in middle school and high school hasn't.
Or Quebec, one of the two.
Yeah.
It's either going to end up in France or French Canadian. So this month we're going to be unpacking the Intuit Accountant Suite. So we'll break it up into 4 major topics because it's a lot to take in. So we'll first talk about today about just some of the overview navigational changes, because that's typically the first thing you noticed is, where did this go? When you're opting in, we'll talk about some of the thoughts of, as we try to speculate what was Intuit thinking when they decided to make these changes. But then in the coming weeks, we'll break down some of the newer functions of the Intuit Accountant Suite. So Books Close, which is a new function or feature, and the Client Insights coming into that. And that will probably segue into, what does an accounting firm need to be able to work with clients? So in the coming year, we're looking to create a course at School of Bookkeeping about accounting firms and fulfilling the accounting technical needs of firms. We'll be discussing some of those topics in our upcoming workshops. I put in the comments or the chat. Where did I put it? I put in some links for some blogs that we're going to be talking about, and I had created one on a while ago, actually right after we went to Intuit Connect, And let me just share my screen here real quick. And there it is. Okay. Where did we go? Hey. Usually when I share stuff, it doesn't take up the full screen, and we get to still look at it. Anyway,
this is good actually, because I feel like the screen, when you shared your screen, it wasn't as big before, and I had a hard time seeing it. This I can see a little bit better.
Okay, all making good things good for you. All right. At first, what was your first thought when you saw it at Intuit Connect? And I know you opted into.
I did, yeah. I knew that they were switching to that before Intuit Connect, and I think, yeah, it did give you. Although remember we were talking about it, it wasn't like you couldn't see it, but for some reason I did. Like my version of it, I must have been able to opt into it sooner, and I did just because I wanted to get used to it. I thought it was fine. My attitude towards it is always, I don't really have a choice. I have to. I'm going to have to use it, so I might as well just do it. At first, though, I thought probably what everybody else did, in that I thought, are they just rearranging things on the screen and just giving it a new look and giving me a headache? Or are they adding some things that are useful? And I'm a really heavy Write Tool user. I've always had that caveat before. And I really default to Write Tool. And that's nothing more than a tool that's on the right-hand side of the screen that is an add-on that you can use to navigate around. And because I'm so dependent on that, I don't usually use the actual QBO navigation. But I have noticed that they have added some things that I have found useful for sure. I don't think it's a waste at all. I think it looks good.
Yeah. That's the first thing, is that the navigation changes and trying to find where something moved to is part of the take a step back to move forward. And then the more struggle that you find in that finding of those things, it tends to either support, yes, this was good change, or no.
Yeah, and if I have to use up a whole bunch of time searching for something, I'm just like, forget it, tool, put it as a shortcut on my Write Tool. But I will say, like, an example of what I'm meaning is that first example you have there with the client list. I like the new view of the client list. And what I mean by that is you can just show the ones that are an actual QBO subscription. Because what it looked like to me before was sometimes I had customers that I didn't necessarily have a connected QBO in my QBOA, which is what it used to be called, QuickBooks Online Accountant. Now it's Intuit Accountant Suite. But it used to be that I would sometimes see all these random little customers that maybe I would just send a one-off invoice to, but I didn't necessarily have a connected QBO. And in that new view in the client list, you can actually filter those out. And you can have a view of just my connected QBOs, which I really like because I like it more streamlined. So that's just one example of, I like it. I think it's a net positive.
Yeah, good. I figured out the problem here. So I'm going to share my screen again.
Uh-oh.
There's a layout thing. Where'd it go? No, there. Look at that. How's that?
Oh, did this program like change their layout too? Don't you love it when they do that? Yeah.
Exactly. Or we could do it
We're helping.
Here. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we can change the layout there in the little studio here. But but yeah, so the blog article that I wrote here has pretty much high level what has changed. Intuit has created a nice article too, which kind of goes through, and I made this a little bigger so we can see it. Oh my goodness. And what's nice about this one, and it's in the chat there as well, is it has not a side by side, but like a before and after screenshot. So they go through
Oh, that's nice.
Each major section and gives you an idea of how it looked before, so that you can get an idea of where it is now. So to your point, the client list was a little bit, you could do some of the things that you were talking about in the old client list, but in the new one, it's just a little bit more smoother.
Yeah.
So this one here,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Looking for subscriptions. And then let's see here. I don't know why this banner at the top is so freaking large when I scroll up it. But that's because I'm zooming in so that we can see things a little better. But that's the first thing is the user interface has changed quite a bit. It is mirroring the new user interface of QuickBooks Online for your clients.
Yeah.
It would be quite cumbersome to have this user interface for QuickBooks Online Accountant, and then going in, you see something like this for your clients to go back and forth. Once you're used to the new user interface, I think finding things will be a lot easier. I am still stumbling looking for certain features, like where did it go? Like, where's the fixed asset management list? I don't know. You gotta hunt those things down. But that's, to your point, where you would just use a tried and true thing like Right Tool or something like that didn't change, to find those things that much easier. But the first big thing that is changing is, of course, the left side navigation overhaul. So it's changed from this section of your practice and your books into this hodgepodge of apps.
Yes.
And sections that are on the left side it's customizable, so you can change that the way that you want to see it. Put app areas better, or put app areas in different areas that maybe you might be more used to working with, to make the left side navigation more customized, which is what that's the whole thing, is doing things for you or your teammates that you focus on, right? So if you have in your firm of 10 people now, not everybody does the same thing. So they might want to have different workflows or different apps or bookmarks or sections of
yeah. And even me, there's certain things I don't want to go into anymore. Now that I've got team members doing things maybe that I used to do, that I don't want that in my view anymore.
Yeah. And then one of the first things that we want to talk about is when it was announced, the changes that were coming to this platform. There was a lot of verbiage that was used that made things seem like things are going away. Like they would announce things like QBOA is going away. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That is a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Especially
we're not having accountants anymore for our accounting software.
Exactly, right? This is just the way that they mentioned it at Intuit Connect, I probably wasn't the best way for the audience that was there.
Right.
To hear that, and especially along the same lines of, ProAdvisor is being reimagined. This is the second time that they've reimagined the ProAdvisor program.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. And what about what they said about ProAdvisors? Who knows?
Exactly. So QBOA as QBOA is going away, right? And part of that is a branding thing for Intuit.
Which is a good thing, because we all knew that it was annoying. We have QBOA, QB Online, and QBO Online Advanced.
Yeah.
And that was always confusing, because we'd go, not that QBOA, accountant, not advanced. And so I think that was probably an effort to quell that confusion.
Yeah. And they've always had an Intuit branding problem. You've seen this over the past couple of years when you see the Super Bowl commercials or any commercials that are on, they always put the word Intuit in front of whatever product, right? Intuit Credit Karma, Intuit QuickBooks on the commercials. So this is following suit with that, right? The Intuit Enterprise Suite, and now we have the Intuit Accountant Suite in replacing of the QuickBooks Online Accountant, because it's more than, the whole idea is that it's designed to be more than that, right? It's not just QuickBooks Online for accountants, it's the Accountant Suite. And
which, it's weird, it's like, to me it almost seems, and I don't necessarily know the driving motivation behind it, but it's going from what seemed like its own branded product that you wouldn't even necessarily know was an Intuit product, which was QuickBooks. 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, it was QuickBooks. And now I feel like there's a bigger push to make sure that it's being lumped in with other Intuit products. And maybe it's for some more brand awareness for Intuit. I'm not really sure why. The brand awareness for QuickBooks was very high, and it still is. And so I don't really know why they want, but it's obvious they want to get away from QuickBooks as a standalone brand, and they want it under the realm of Intuit. It's this very deliberate. Yeah,
and their messaging, or the marketing messaging, that is very specific. Alicia Katz-Pollock and myself, we've been corrected a couple times for that, or suggested that when we talk about QuickBooks, we'll talk about QuickBooks on the Intuit platform, where that is the idea. And I get where they're coming from, because
wait, they do, or they don't want you to say it that way?
They want to, yes, it's QuickBooks on the Intuit platform, right?
Oh yeah, which is really weird, because like when I first got my ProAdvisor several years ago, I remember like I was looking through the rules and regulations, and you were not allowed to say that you were an Intuit ProAdvisor. You had to say you were a QuickBooks ProAdvisor. Yeah. And I remember that being very specific, and I was like, oh, that's definitely a branding thing. They really want those separated. And now it seems like it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, but considering their core suite of services that they have, like Intuit, MailChimp, TurboTax, and QuickBooks, if you have access to all of them in one place, which that's where they're headed, right? That's ultimately what they're hoping to do.
Yeah, as an end user, not as an accountant user.
Right.
Don't try and do that.
They are starting to incorporate these features in one place. And that's the main goal of this Intuit Accountant Suite, is for accountants to be able to do things in this platform that doesn't require them to go into their client's QuickBooks. Maybe they can do some things, and we'll talk about that with books closed and when we get to client insights and things.
Yeah.
so that you can pretty much stay within one place and you don't have to open up another tab or go into another link or website in order to complete the functions that you're trying to do. So
yeah. But I don't know why I always get do you watch Stranger Things?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how Will gets that like weird like tickle on the back of his neck whenever Vecna's around? Whenever this, you don't have to log into here and all your stuff is going to be in one spot. I get that same like creepy, weird feeling because I'm like, really? I don't know. I'll believe that when I say it.
Yeah, there's some things I saw in the No webinar they're talking about as far as roadmap. Things that we'll see today are probably not what we might see tomorrow, but the goal is for less clicks to be able to do the things in one place that modifies something else. And
yeah, I mean, I hope that can happen successfully because I will say I have used other systems in the past in other jobs and things have worked more cohesively than Intuit products that I have used. And so that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to put them down. I'm just saying that historically, my use of QuickBooks, logging in here and logging in there and blah, 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 and this product and that product, it's been very convoluted. And I am hesitant to jump on that bandwagon and say, oh, it's going to be so great, because I've had a lot of trouble. And with with just a lot of the logging in and for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. And there is a flip side to that coin, that when you do have all your eggs in one basket and there is a problem with that basket, you're pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So who wants to go there anyway? Remember the combination TV, VCR, and the one thing? It's like, what happens if the VCR breaks? Then, you still have to use this ratchet TV, right? And then what if the VCR works and then the TV doesn't work? Then it's like rendered useless. So I feel like we could learn the mistakes of eggs all in one basket history. We need to revisit history and see how that worked.
But I think it's human nature to be like, this time it's different.
Actually, who does it really well? Apple.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always reinventing.
They are. And I mean, I'm just saying in terms of logging into iCloud and then my information is there and then this and that. And they seem to not have royally screwed that up. I seem to feel that's a cohesive space because they have different products. They've got iPhone, iMac, iCloud, whatever. And I do feel like when I log into that, I am seeing the footprint of my other stuff. I'm not really able to describe it the right way. Intuit, on the other hand, I couldn't say that.
Yeah. There's two sides to that story, right? I'm wearing my new AirPods that I got for Christmas, right?
Oh.
And with my iPhone and my Mac, sometimes those two fight for supremacy of which one is actually connected, especially when I'm physically sitting relatively close to both of them.
I know the iPods are so presumptuous. I'm like, don't just assume that you're going to be connected to my laptop. Like, you belong on my phone.
Right.
Actually, that's the Mac the MacBook that's doing that, not the actual AirPods. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to insult you, AirPods.
The flip side of that, when you have text forwarding and things connected to from your Mac to your phone,
that can be dangerous.
It is so convenient to start a conversation on your phone and continue it on your computer.
I do that every day.
Yeah. So you can see things back and forth and those types of things. So like the convenience factor that they have figured out, there always shows up in a flip side of that in something else. And Intuit is going to probably have the same problems, right? Because if they have a problem with their payroll service and it's all that you're using this platform of connected services, it only takes one of those failures of some of those systems to potentially spoil the entire basket for
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah.
Because especially when you're dealing with real money movement, I think that is a concern for Intuit and all of the small businesses, that when they're relying on Intuit to make those real things happen in the real world, and one of them doesn't, it then casts a shadow of doubt on the other services that they might be.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of us out there are like, we like improvements. That's fine. Engineer something really cool and I'm going to get on board, but don't mess up what we are already using and doing. And unfortunately, that's happening. It's reports are getting goofed up and functionality is getting goofed up. And that's a topic for another day, but that's happening. And there's a lot of folks that have their feathers ruffled about that, including me.
Exactly. So let's get back to what's changed inside of QBOA, now Intuit Accountant Suite, which first we want to also mention that there are going to be two flavors of Intuit Accountant Suite. There is going to be an Intuit Accountant Suite Core, which for the time being is totally free. And essentially, if you're thinking, oh, my QBOA is going away, I won't have a free option as an accountant, they have claimed that when you use Core, Intuit Accountant Suite Core, then that will stay free.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's really cool.
There is a feature in Core that's available in Core that will likely have a cost associated with it, and that's the books close. We'll talk about that next week, but you don't have to sign up for that if you don't want to. You don't have to use the books close feature. You can still be in Intuit Accountant Suite Core and pay nothing. Yeah. And of course, we are unaware of what those announcements would be. They said May or so there will be some kind of formal announcement, because they're gathering usage data and feedback and all of those things during this extended beta period. But it's just the core functionality when you opt in to the Intuit Accountant Suite Core or Accelerate. Accelerate is the other one that will have books close as well as client insights and some other features that have yet to be fleshed out yet.
That, I know a lot of people are a fan of that, because then you're going to weed out people that aren't really using it to do client work. And I'm a fan of that too. But what I was going to ask you is, do you know, or have you heard of yet about the ProAdvisor being connected to that at all, the way that it is now? Because what I really want to know is, and the only thing I care about is, I'll pay for it. I'm going to get it. And because I want to designate myself as a paying QBO Intuit Accountant Suite user, because I want to be in the community and I want to get the insights and I want to be in that. And I'm willing to pay for it, as opposed to people that don't want to pay for it because I'm a serious user. But what I am very curious to know, is there going to be some level 2 or advanced ProAdvisor or something that we can have some kind of recognition for by upgrading and paying for QBOA?
Yeah, I imagine we'll find out.
Intuit Accountant Suite. Sorry, I can't stop saying QBOA.
At least you're not saying QBOA. I remember somebody called it when we were piloting it, like, what's this QBOA all about?
Oh my gosh.
It's the QuickBooks snake. That it suffocates you. Anyway, I imagine that there is going to be more information about that in May, right?
Yeah.
That's what they were teeing up in Intuit Connect. And if history is a predictor of the future, they will likely change the terms associated and the actual naming convention, not the terms of service, but they'll probably change the term of ProAdvisor because it has been slowly being removed from other things as far as concerned. But I don't know if there is going to be a paid ProAdvisor membership other than what exists today.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of being a ProAdvisor is if Intuit provides training and services and access.
And the search should be listed in their directory. And to me, that's the most important part of it. And if that isn't really going to be a thing anymore and we're on our own with Google and whatnot, that's fine. But I just really want to know what the situation is going to be.
And you started to see this when they incorporated the point system with the different tiers. And you can definitely connect more subscriptions, more clients with more points, and they would weigh different services with different
points.
So you can see what they're incentivizing, right?
That's what I was just going to say is you've got to have some kind of incentivifications. I don't even know the right word. You've got to have something because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of people. And people like to know that they've ratcheted up. I did this, check the box, did this, check that. And they've jumped through these hoops and they've achieved a certain status. Regardless of it is meaningless or meaningful, it doesn't really matter. But it feels tangible for some people. Then you have, and the reason that I like this paid option is because I know that a lot of people are hacking the system and getting a QBOA version just to have a free QuickBooks instance. Right. And so I'm sure they're probably wanting to get rid of that, which I am too. And I don't like people doing that. And so I'm hoping that overall it's a positive thing and they get what they're seeking and we get what is important to us. That's really the only outcome that I care about.
Yeah. And there are always, there are people outside of Intuit that they're finding opportunities in the way things are structured. And you mentioned that, hey, there's a way to get a free QBO company if you just sign up as an accountant. You don't have to prove anything.
Yeah, and if I were in charge at Intuit, that's one of the first things I would try and make go away too.
And that has always been something that has been hard to police, right? Because they started off with that policy of, hey, you just need to sign in and you're a cloud ProAdvisor, which is what they called it at first, but a QBOA ProAdvisor or whatever you want to call it today, whether or not you had clients. And that's where they started with the whole points system.
Yeah.
And then other ways that they've been trying to do that is limiting functions when you don't have paying clients, as part of your firm.
Yeah.
All of these little things that they've been trying to do to, not police, to make sure that the right user is in the right place.
Yeah.
And avoid those things, right? And certification was always one of those things, one of those ways that you can distinguish yourself as a person. But there's plenty of bad actors out there who, you go to Fiverr and search for ProAdvisor certification, there's plenty of people in there that are willing to take the test for you.
Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you need somebody to take that test for you. I don't think it's all that hard.
Yeah. I've been reached out to, and somebody has actually offered to take the test. I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay. Society is unraveling. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's insane.
Because that was a requirement to get your thing published. Your profile was published. You couldn't publish your profile as a advisor unless you passed a certification. The opportunity knocks when,
Yeah, it's hard when you're a software company wanting to make money. You're like, anybody is an accountant. Woo! And then
also, in the grand scheme of things, right? If you're not paying for something, you are the product, right?
Yeah.
So those types of things, if you can't have it both ways. You can't have everything given to you and assume that just because you are potentially who you say you are, right? I'm a ProAdvisor. Intuit has to have some skin in. Have you have some skin in the game, and that's where points came in. Okay, bring in some clients. We'll give you these tiers, right? Now, the grand scheme of the ProAdvisor program, are those tiers worth the tears or the sweat or the blood that you're doing in order to make those tiers? That remains to be seen. And
I don't think it really matters to clients, but so I don't mind.
An elite ProAdvisor, what does that mean, right?
Yeah, because I am, but I don't think anybody cares. But I will say, like I said, I don't mind paying for it. But if you're listening into it, I don't want to pay a lot. Calm down.
Right.
I'm not talking $600.
Ultimately, I think that's what they're trying to figure out. What's the price point for these features that people would find value in? We're at this point in the iteration of Intuit Accountant Suite as they're trying to figure these things out. And it's not a great place to be as an accounting professional, because there's a lot of change. There's a lot of things happening that didn't happen yesterday. And all you're trying to do is just take care of your clients.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that's why I don't see realistically firms like mine. It doesn't make sense to do all things in Intuit. We never will. I'm even testing out different general ledgers, and like within the inventory space, we already work in different accounting softwares. So sorry, there's no way I would put all of my everything into Intuit only to have them stab me in the back and say, oh, guess what? Now to use Intuit Accounting Suite is going to be $2,700 a year. That's no way. That's not going to fly.
Because you take a look at the desktop pricing, right? And that's, now that you're there, right? Or if you like desktop and you want to stay in desktop, it's getting more and more painful, because that's the lever that Intuit is bearing down on people, is making people uncomfortable with paying the price.
Right? And I already, on one hand, can count several other cloud-based AI that their AI is better than Intuit that I could use to do the bookkeeping for my clients. Now, I also use other apps. You can't argue the fact that Intuit is, or QuickBooks, there's errors in it right now.
Yeah. So I was going to go through the changes here, but we're already at 45 minutes.
Well, and we just had so much gossiping to do about Intuit. I'm sorry, it was necessary.
Exactly. So we are going to table the navigational changes for next week, and then we'll go into the books close and the client insights, not oversight.
Yeah.
It's not insights. It's not oversights, it's insight.
You know what, though? The one thing I will say, just to wrap that up, though, is the other part of firm ownership is that you spend so much money. It's astronomical. And I'm an app gal. I like diversifying all the apps, but it does get to a point where it's cost prohibitive. And so the idea of doing the books close in a product that you're already paying for, or utilizing this little thing for a product you're already paying for, that's not the worst thing in the world. There's options. We have a lot of different options. And I think that's ultimately why things get very confusing, is because you can do this here, you can do that there. You don't have to, but you can. And it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think ultimately that's where QuickBooks' sweet spot is, not to use Accountant Suite as a pun, but I did, is that QuickBooks and Intuit in the platform will do a lot of things for a lot of people, but it won't do everything for everyone.
No.
So that's where you need to find where your lane is, and it's with your clients. Is this sufficient for what I need my firm and team to do, or do I need more than what QuickBooks is offering?
Yeah.
Or is it good to have be able to pivot and have both, so that if there is a blockage on one or the other, you're not dead in the water by or not being able to work if something is down. So next week we'll go over the navigational changes. Where did this go? Where did that move to with Intuit Accountant Suite? And we'll continue on with this journey this month on QBOA or Intuit Accountant Suite, which
QBOA.
QBOA.
Not to be confused with Qdoba.
Right.
The taco restaurant.
That's delicious. Not as delicious as QBOA. All right.
Bye.
On the Workshop Wednesday. Have a great day, everyone. And that wraps up another insightful episode of Workshop Wednesday, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and took away some valuable tips and strategies to enhance your bookkeeping practice. Remember, if you want to stay ahead in the world of bookkeeping and accounting, be sure to visit Schoolofbookkeeping.com. With a wide range of courses, resources, and expert guidance, you'll find everything you need to sharpen your skills and boost your career. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content every week. If you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover, reach out to us on social media or send us an email at support@schoolofbookkeeping.com. We love hearing from our listeners and are always looking for new ideas to explore. Thanks for tuning in to Workshop Wednesday. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep excelling in your bookkeeping journey. I am Dan DeLong, and we'll see you next time.